Layman's guide to mindfulness. Knowledge. Normally, our mind by default claims that, where is your house? Here, this is the address, this is the number, the street, and the city, and the state, and the country. This is just an information. But when mind claims that this information is knowledge, specifically in meditation or mindfulness, it doesn't work. So when I say knowledge of mindfulness and knowledge of meditation is the self, the way you can point out on the map, here is our country, USA, here is our country, India. It is not India and the USA. It is on the map. Similarly, when we pass the information, or you can say when the teacher passes on the information about meditation, it is still the information. We have to translate that into a knowledge. My master used to say that the seed grown today cannot become tree overnight. Second point is very important. The knowledge of meditation, if I say, is the knowledge of the self, my true nature. So when I say meditation is a discovery of my true nature, and the true nature is inner peace, happiness, love and wisdom. See that? Do you really experience that? I think a couple of weeks before I said awareness, knowledge, experience. Do I experience my body? Yes. Am I aware of my body? Yes. Do I know my body? Yes. Apply this. Am I aware of the self, the true self? No. I'm aware of the body, I'm aware of the breath, I'm aware of the mind, I'm aware of the thought, I'm aware of the feeling, I'm aware of the emotion, I'm aware of the problem. Sum together is me. No. Knowledge. Do I know my true nature? No. Do I experience it? No. That is why we meditate. The entire Eastern wisdom, I always repeat, which is 6,000 years old, 3,000 teachers, and 3,000 texts, they all teach only one thing. If I summarize it, know thyself, the way the Buddha says. So when I say know thyself, means what? Okay, can you define meditation? So before we define meditation, do we really understand what exactly the meaning of definition? And from there the meditation will become clear. The definition, the word comes from differentiation. So there are two parts. Differentiating a thing what it is not. So that I see that uniqueness of that thing. It qualifies. Now apply that to the meditation. Differentiating a process, a method, a practice by which we differentiate non-self from the self and abide in the self. That is known as awakening, that is known as success in meditation. Abide in myself, differentiating which I am not. Abide in my house, differentiating from the neighbor's house. And Paul knows that's where I say we have 6 neighbors. You differentiate yourself from the 6 neighbors. Not intellectually, but in the field of awareness, knowledge and experience. You are already in the state of mindfulness. I started with the definition, differentiating. Differentiating from what? What I want to know, myself. That is the goal of meditation. So before I know the uniqueness of the self, I have to differentiate what I am not. And that is why all the masters speak of, I am not the body, differentiating. I am not the breath, differentiating. I am not the mind, differentiating. I am not the thought, I am not the intellect, I am not the ego. Then what is left? Self. Example, my house is number is 105. I differentiate. 1 is my house? No. 2? No. 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 Yes. So when I said the knowledge cannot happen instantly. Outer knowledge can happen. Finished. Information can happen. But the knowledge of the self has to happen but in 3 or 4 stages. First stage, I don't know what you are talking about, self. Okay, you don't know. Know it. Know it by the Eastern wisdom. Okay, you say that the self is full of inner peace, happiness, love and wisdom, but I don't understand it. Okay, let me comprehend and understand it. So when we comprehend and understand it, here comes the differentiation, separation, and knowing who we are. There is a firm conviction in the mind and the intellect that this is the self. Then, yes, I understand it, but I don't experience it. So, next stage is practice, 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 practice. What is the 4th stage? When we practice, the experience in the mind changes. We all know it, very clear. You all know it, and still I'm repeating it. So experience in the mind changes the brain. An experience in the brain changes our attitude. A lot of stuff is there in the brain. That is what the Master says, the impurities of the mind. So sometimes we need to interchange brain and mind and mind and the brain. But factually, brain is a physical organ. So when we talk of attitude, it again goes to the mind, but refers to the brain. It's a long story. So then we have experience, the change in the attitude changes our personality. What it means? Now I'm a new person. What it means? I perceive the world differently. So my perception is different. My action will be different. One example, agitated all the time. That is one trait. Inherited, habitually, mechanically. There may be hundreds of reasons. The mind, change in the brain, change in the attitude, change in the personality. Now no more hesitation. Why? The perception of the same world is different now. What is that perception? The right perception. Buddha says in the very first of the Eight Noble Paths, right knowledge. And what I'm going to say next, you should contemplate and reflect. Just casually with eyes open and eyes closed, whatever it is. In meditation or mindfulness, there are two movements. One is horizontal movement, from outside to inside. Simple example. If you have a 3-story house, first you enter into the house horizontally and vertically you go from the stairs to the second floor and the third floor. Once we clearly understand and we practice meditation with these two fundamental steps. First, moving the mind inside, from outside to inside. Where is from outside? From the world, sense perception. To the body, sense perception. To the breath, sense perception. To the thoughts, feeling and emotions, mental perception. Horizontal movement. And behind the thought and thinking, we have gray areas of which we are not aware. That makes us agitated, anxious, fearful, and a lot of stuff. And behind that there is a true nature. But because of that gray area, we have to make a vertical movement. Rise above, rise above, rise above. So that rising above is explained as a Kundalini meditation. And then what happens? It opens the door to the inner peace and happiness, love and wisdom. Let us start our journey today. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed and you are comfortable. It's a layman's guide, so anyone can do the practice. Hence, listening with awareness and moving the mind. What I told you, moving the mind horizontally and vertically. It may happen simultaneously. Who knows? Depends on your motivation, depends on your dedication, depends on your regular practice. So external preparation, first close your eyes. Don't squeeze them. How do you know you don't squeeze them? You are aware. You experience. You have a knowledge. And then the position of the body. Don't go into any contradictory statement and controversy. No, one has to sit in this posture, in that. Whatever is more comfortable to you, whatever is most comfortable to you. Sitting, lying down, in an asana, or sitting on a chair or a couch, whatever is comfortable, but make it comfortable. Comfortable. So we now go to the internal practice of being comfortable. Now see that sensation. You don't see it through the sense organs, but you feel it in the mind. So what we are doing? Making the mind move horizontally. See, from the very first step. Every time we talk about one principle of Eastern wisdom, and then we translate that principle into practice. So move the mind on the neck joint. What happens? You become aware of the neck joint. You have a knowledge. You experience comfortable, and you also experience steadiness. The body is not important, but the body is a means to move the mind horizontally. Shoulder joints. Feel the shoulder joints. Look at the shoulder joints. Feel the sensation. And experience steadiness. Move the mind on the hip joint. So when you're moving the mind on the hip joint, or you're looking the hip joint, you instantly feel the sensation, and the mind observes the knowledge. Is it comfortable? Good. No more movement. When there is no more movement, we experience the steadiness. You see, everything is happening in the field of awareness and knowledge. But if you think that the meditation is a habitual practice, the answer is big no. Then what will happen even if you make it a habitual practice? Yes, you can work like meditation like a prescription pill. You have pain and you have suffering and hesitation, take the pill. No. Knee joints, feel the sensation. Who feels the sensation? The mind. The mind knows it. It continues to know it. Did I tell you the seed grown overnight cannot become a tree? Now understand that knowledge. Every knowledge of the sensation of being comfortable, of being steady, will lay a strong foundation one day. The entire body. The entire body, you're looking, you're feeling, you're moving the mind on the entire body from the top of the head to the toes. Okay? You feel the sensation. And what is that sensation? Being comfortable. No, I don't feel comfortable. The mind says, okay, adjust in a line and feel comfortable. What we are doing at a very subtler level, we are differentiating what I am not through the knowledge and experience. Our today's topic. The entire body, you feel the sensation, you're comfortable and you're steady. My master used to say that, oh, remain cheerful all the time. What prevents us not to be cheerful all the time? Thought? Yes, in the thought that carries the impression in the gray area that I don't know. I wake up in the morning and there is no thought and still my mood is upset. So when the mind is upset, it creates an obstacle, a wall, a curtain, a veil. So make it simple. Look at the head and the neck. Outside, experience steadiness and look inside the head and the neck. We want to know the state of the mind at this moment. Is it cheerful? Is it happy? Then experience a sense of effortlessness. You're not doing anything, so question of effort doesn't arise. And the fourth point here, just maintain awareness of the space inside your head, or just look into the sense of emptiness or blankness. There are 4 points, means 4 experiences, out of which 2 are horizontal, 2 are vertical. Look at the right arm. First, steadiness in the right arm. You're already comfortable. Then looking inside, cheerfulness is a vertical movement. You'll be surprised. Then comes the effortlessness. Effortlessness. The mind is not making any extra effort in the meditation. You are telling the mind, you need not to do anything. Just be there as you are. And the fourth point, awareness of the space inside, vertical movement. You'll understand how I change the practice every time I give you. You're becoming a teacher as well as a student. You're becoming your own teacher. Left arm, objective reality. Left arm, not a big deal. What is a big deal? Experiencing a sense of steadiness. That knowledge and experience of the steadiness will go a long way. Normally what happens when the mind is not ready, go ahead. I'm already steady. Why you are repeating it again? So what is that state of the mind is already agitated, it is in a hurry. The mind in a hurry cannot practice meditation. So, the Master says cheerfulness, effortlessness is there, and awareness of the space. Go deeper into these 4 points. You'll be amazed that your experience changes very fast. Look at the head and the neck. Look at the head and the neck. looking, and after that the mind begins the journey of awareness, knowledge and experience. When I say look at the chest and the belly, you are aware of it, you know where it is, and now the knowing. What is that knowing? The sense of steadiness is there. Cheerfulness inside, effortlessness outside, space inside. Right leg, awareness, and then the mind knows that the right leg is steady. Experience of stillness is there. Okay? Then look inside, cheerfulness. No, it's not a burden for you to do the practice. Why the burden? Because of the mind. What happens in the mind? The mind picks up the impressions from the gray area where the problems, the worries and are there. Then become aware of the left leg. Awareness of the left leg, feel the sensation, being comfortable. So what I said, 4 points: steadiness in the left leg, effortlessness, space inside. You see that when the mind lives into this field of awareness, of steadiness in the body, not by force, not enforcing a discipline, but with awareness and knowledge. Cheerfulness is there, and you are aware of the space. So we are making a horizontal and a vertical movement of the mind together. The entire body. You see, you're not doing anything. It's an awareness, knowledge, and experience. You take the first step, and the rest happens naturally. For example, where is your address? And then I keep quiet. You give me the street number, you give me the street, and the county, and then the state, and then the country, and then the zip code. Now see, the entire body, that is with exclamation sign, question mark. Steadiness outside in the body. Why you are comfortable. Effortlessness. To sit comfortably is a sense of effortlessness. But this sense of effortlessness and stillness should be the knowledge and experience in the mind without thinking. And to vertical movement, cheerfulness inside. And fourth is, you are aware of the space. It is not the steps that helps you. The steps are simply the tools. Based on your temperament, based on your mental state, based on your level of awareness. What we do? We consider breath and then we add breath mindfulness. That doesn't work. Yes, it creates a sense of habit. Breath mindfulness is a prescription pill. Awareness of the breath to help the mind to move inside and rise above is the way. is the way, is the path. Who cannot focus on the breath? Now, normally people talk to me, oh, focus on the breath leads us to meditation. No, focus is an effort. Now see the difference. Casually you look at the breath. Looking at the breath, so when I look at you, what happens? I know you. I know more about you. So when you look at the breath, you know the breath is going in and out. You simply know. You don't make any effort. You see, that's why I never use inhale and exhale. No, not required. You're already inhaling and exhaling all the time. Okay. So you are looking at the breath. So what is the first thing that you know? The breath is going in and out. First point of awareness. And it is also your first experience. What I was talking, awareness, knowledge, experience. So the first point of awareness, the breath is going in and out. The second point, you feel the sensation of the breath every time when the breath goes in and out. I'm not asking you to feel it. I'm just making you aware of which you are not aware. When the air touches the nose, you'll definitely feel the sensation. So there are 2 points of awareness, knowledge and experience. What is that? Breath is going in and out. Feeling the sensation. Now what is the third point? I am giving a point to the mind not to get carried away by any thought. And what is the third point? Do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. Status quo of the breath. Where is the focus now? So when you are aware of the breath going in and out, you're feeling the sensation to effortlessness. The third point is simply an attention on the moving breath, on the feeling breath. What is the result? There is no change in the rate and the rhythm of the breath. Why we are doing this? We should have a clarity in what we are doing. We are doing this 3-pointed awareness of the breath for many reasons. First reason, the self is already full of peace and happiness. In meditation, we do not produce or create anything. We discover our true nature. See that? You cannot say that, oh, I discover this house, but first let me build it and then I will discover. The word discovery is not used for that. It is already there. So when it is there, clarity is there in the mind. So will the mind like to do any effort? No. Is the mind aware of this fact? With a 3-pointed awareness of the breath going in and out, feeling the sensation, no change in the rate and the rhythm. When the mind knows it, the mind will not be carried away by any thought and impressions. It is as simple as that. See that. we are going a little deeper into what we call the breath awareness. So Buddha says it is anapan-sati yoga. Buddha, by the word yoga, Buddha means the state of mindfulness. That is why he says anapan-sati yoga. Breath awareness with a knowledge, with an experience. How simple it is. I merged many steps together today. Our house, our physical location is always same. House number, street, bedroom. But in the journey of the mindfulness, the house is the body. And the body is subjected to millions and trillions of impressions of the mind. That is why we need a steadiness in the body, awareness, experience and knowledge of the steadiness of the body. I hope you are clear. And by making that statement, it takes your mind to the heightened level of awareness. Effortlessness. Once the house you are living in, do you make any effort to live in the house? No. Do you make any effort to live in the body? No. Effortlessness. You are progressing. Are you in the state of cheerfulness, or the mind is still jumping around when this session will finish? Gray area, the impurities of the mind. So we are tackling through cheerfulness. Come on, mind. You have been running days after days, weeks after weeks, years after years, and still not calm. Hold on. When that idea comes to your mind, when you are cheerful, and then you are aware of the space inside. In that moment you are looking at the breath. First point, you are looking at the moving breath. You are feeling the breath. You are not changing the rate and the rhythm of the breath. Nothing to be done. So I'm breaking up. When I say three-pointed awareness of the breath, what is my meaning? What is the idea? Idea is simple. What is that idea? To keep the mind engaged in two movements, horizontal and vertical. That is what we discussed in the beginning. So don't take it that this step is the final step. No step is final. Will you ever say that I drove to my home with a Mercedes and the house became more beautiful? Yes. These are devices. I have been telling again and again and again and again. These are devices. You can reach your home by Mercedes or Toyota or any car. So once you have understood that, let us continue. First point of awareness, you know the breath is going in and out. Second, you feel the breath. You feel the breath when it goes in and comes out. Okay. And then you know that you're not changing the rate and the rhythm of the breath that I have already explained to you. And the fourth point, what else the mind knows at this moment? At this moment. So every time the breath goes, you feel the sensation, there is no change, and you become aware of the space, or blankness, or emptiness. Isn't it? Okay? So there are 4 points of awareness. Whether the breath goes in and out, there is no change. You feel the sensation and you become aware of the space, or blankness, or emptiness, whatever you want to say. You should be very clear that every step is a device, is a tool, is an instrument, is not everything in the path of the mindfulness. My friend, so the vertical movement is nothing but the object-less state of the mind. There is a clarity in our understanding. There is no doubt in the mind. The moment you listen to it, you know it. You are becoming aware. You see, we are reaching to that point where awareness, knowledge, experience become merge and become one. So objectless, what is object here? The breath. And further extension of that object, we know the breath is going in and out, we feel the sensation. So we are moving from objectivity to subjectivity. Feeling the sensation, see that. No change in the rate and the rhythm of the breath, subjectivity. Becoming aware of the space, with every breath going in and out, little more subjectivity. What else? In order to transcend that breath, in Tantra we have hundreds of tools, but they are very subtle. Let us apply one of them. When you drive your car in front and you want to reverse, you put the reverse gear, and the car stops for a millisecond, for just a pause is there. When the breath goes in, know it, then there is a pause before the breath returns. Again there is a pause, interval, a space, whatever you want to say. And then the breath goes in. And it happens 21,800 times every day. Did we create the pause? No. That unchanging reality is present in that pause. So what the Hatha Yoga does? Hatha Yoga does by enforcing a pause. You hold the breath. No, don't do that. We're already at a very high level. You see, you know, you experience the pause after the breath goes in and before it comes out. You have become aware, experience the pause when the breath comes out before it goes in. The way you experience a pause when you reverse your car from the front. When the mind lives, merges into that pause, objectless state of the mind. And what is that? Meditative state. What else? You are already in a state of doing nothing. So even when I say, do nothing, you're already there. But recognize that. Our breath is going in and out, feeling the sensation or change in the rate and the rhythm of the breath, and there is already a pause. That helps you to live within. Living within awakens. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now is the time to reflect upon what practice we did and what happened. Why? When you share your experiences, it helps you to go deeper next time. So let us share our experiences. Bring the mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside unmute your sound that I have done so that you could have listened to me clearly. So, how are you, Sameer?
Sir, I was totally relaxed. There were no thoughts in my mind. But I was sitting on my sofa 2-3 times. Means I started feeling like I was falling in front. Means my head is going to touch the floor.
Okay.
So 2-3 times that happened, but it was. Means then I became sick like that, stiff again. But there were no thoughts, sir. My head is very cool. All these shoulders are very cool, and it was a really good experience.
Very good. Good. And how about you, Paul?
It was very calming. It's just regular breathing and concentrating, going in and out works very well for me.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah, and it continues. It was when we worked together.
Yeah.
And that gets me right into that no thoughts. I know stuff's going on around me, but I'm not engaging those thoughts.
Not engaging, yes.
Yeah, very well.
Wonderful.
Very good session.
Very good. How are you, Terry? Meeting you after a long time.
Yes, I finally got my computer to the point where I could log in.
After 1 year. Thanks, God.
Yeah, it took a long time.
Terry is very sweet, I know. But after 1 year, you are able to open the computer.
It took me that long to do it.
How are you doing? How you did today?
I've been listening to the last time we spoke lesson.
Yeah.
Just listening.